All right, so look, it's time to get back into some T-Bait. It's been a minute. It's been a lot going on. I'll make another video and talk about kind of what's been happening. I'm moving. I bought a new truck, and it's just kind of been super busy. But I kind of want to talk about these little, I guess, like what would I call it? Extra chapters or whatever. You know, with Cecelia, Nico, and then like some of the different scenarios with Arthur being in the Keystone. And overall, I just kind of thought the chapters were meh. But I did want to say something about this Cecelia shit, man. I don't get it. Like, I feel like at this point in the story, the whole Cecelia, Nico, that whole entire plot point, I just feel like it was a waste of time. I feel like it was a complete waste of time, and that it was all pointless. Nico, all the stuff he'd been through, going back, Cecelia, her whole character was just a nightmare. Her whole character was a nightmare. And so, her going back, I'm just like, okay, so happily ever after, I guess, but they don't really seem like they're happy. I'm just like, I don't know what to think, other than the whole storyline was completely useless and pointless. It didn't really solve anything. They kind of went right back to the beginning, like, oh, okay, so Gray, he ended up killing her, but then Nico finds out the real reason why. But Cecelia already knew that, but then she took so long to even confess that. But then you got the manipulation with Agrona, but then you also got like, okay, we still don't know how manipulated she really was, because everything seemed like she had her faculties, she knew what she was doing, and she just had this loyalty to Agrona. But other than the loyalty to Agrona, her behavior towards Arthur, her behavior towards Nico, all those things were all part of her character. That's who she is. And so just like everything that's happened, and then you go right, and then like even the whole, oh, I'm doing everything you say, Agrona, but the one thing I won't do is kill your daughter, though. Why? Who knows? I just kind of don't feel like it in the moment. And I'm just like, you have not grown at all as a character. Like, you have done no improvement. And then she just goes back to her world, gets her whole fantasy life that she wants to have with Nico, and now we're just like, okay, does Tournament expect us to be happy for them and like, yay, they got their happily ever after, hooray? Like, I don't feel any of that shit. Like, none at all. Like, I couldn't care any less about their characters, their story arc, their everything was just all completely pointless, useless. It was all for nothing. It was all for Nico's whole journey back with the reincarnation. Oh, I'm gonna prove and say, oh, Arthur, you're this terrible person, and Gray, you're so selfish. Meanwhile, I still go back to the point where when they were all friends back on Earth, like, he never wanted y'all to come there in the first place. Like, he wanted to pursue what he wanted to pursue himself, which is to compete in a tournament and, be the king or whatever. Like, y'all was supposed to go to a whole different, y'all decided to follow him, so like, it's not his fault that things didn't turn out the way that y'all wanted it to be. Like, they had this whole fantasy of how their life was going to turn out, but they could never actually make it come to fruition. You know what I'm saying? And so then they get this other life with Agrona and everything, and you just kind of oh, I'm gonna just do whatever he said. Like, even Nico talking about, remember like the whole Nico thing with what's the dude's name with the mask on his face that ended up killing the people when they invaded Zyra's Academy? I can't think of his name right now. But when they invaded Zyra's Academy and like he was like under Nico or responsible for protecting Nico, finding Nico, he one that brought Nico back to Agrona and Alacria, right? So like his whole thing was, Nico let him free, so he's free now to do what. We still don't even know what was the point of all that, like him being free, what is he just free to have his own life and do his own thing? Like I thought that was building up to like he's gonna come in, he's gonna intervene, or he's gonna go and help Arthur and have some significant event, even though Arthur probably killed him on sight, even though he didn't know that he was the one that killed him. But I'm pretty sure the people that would recognize him in the mask or whatever, but I don't know. But then maybe they won't recognize him because he wouldn't wear the mask, because that'd be really stupid. I don't know, but I thought that was like leading towards something, and it never really got anywhere. But then we go back to like Arthur and him having this other scenario where he goes and confronts Cecelia really, really early on, trying to get her to pretty much get all the information he can about the whole reincarnation thing so he can figure out a way to, set her free. But that never ends up happening because, she's just controlled, and the grown is like, oh yeah, you really think you was gonna get control of them so easily? And I'm just like, man, it all just felt pointless. The extra chapters didn't do anything for me at all. And then they have their whole happily ever after kind of sort of thing when it all just seemed fake. It all seemed like they're not really happy with each other. It's just like, I just don't give a shit at all. So let me know if you feel the exact same way that I feel, because these are just some of the worst characters in the story. I don't know what the fuck Turtlemy was thinking when he made her character. Like I could see Cecelia being so much better of a character. Like I would have wanted her to like come back and then slowly start to understand what's happening, and then realize like, oh, she's in the same situation that she was in back on Earth with someone trying to control her, right? And then she like manipulates Agrona in some way, or she doing some type of sabotage, right? And then she uses her strength that she's developing from Agrona, and then she ends up betraying him in the end and helping out Arthur and trying to help him learn some way to get her back to Earth or whatever. But she's realizing like, okay, Arthur's not the bad person, Agrona's the bad person, I'm gonna fight on the good side. And then maybe there's some sort of, they can grow their relationship that way. But then again, maybe if she was a character, like, listen, okay, I understand that this is the love of your life, and I'm in her body. If it was up to me, I wouldn't want to have control of her body, but we got to just make the best of what's going on. And then maybe there is some sort of like kinship between her and Cecelia, or and Tessia, right? Where like Tessia is not as like, Tessia doesn't feel as trapped or whatever. Maybe she can find some way to give Tessia control of her body again, or something. Like it would be so much better if she was just a better character, a better person overall. But she's not. She's confused and selfish and delusional and schizophrenic and just bipolar and like everything else you can think of. Like it's just I don't feel as terrible about Nico anymore. He's still a weak person, but I kind of understand his character better. But Cecelia, her character, that shit's just trash. Just trash. But that's that. I'm gonna make a video about the chapter, what is it, 481, 482, something like that. I'm gonna make a video about that chapter. But for right now, I'm just want to explain how I feel about these whole extra chapters and just, God, the whole Cecelia shit is just trash. But anyway, like the video, you guys, and I appreciate you guys watching and checking me out in the next video. Peace.